can have good food. We can have those ups and downs that life normally awards us. But these practices are opportunities to show ourselves that we can ground ourselves, stabilize ourselves, anchor ourselves at will, wherever we may be, with our loved ones, in a crowded, busy street. That's all these short meditations are about, practicing ourselves back into alignment. And what I'll do is I'll ring the bell, and we let the bell symbolize the beginning of our practice together. For some of us, it's been 2 months since we met in this way. For some of us, it's been much longer, but we've all had our own practices. But in any event, so much has happened over the past 2 months, over the past few months. And so let us all invoke the beginner's mind, which means you don't need to be a certain way, you don't need to act a certain way, you don't need to begin from that aligned space of stillness and peace. You simply begin wherever it is you find yourself to be at this moment. Recognizing the different parts to us. Beginning with the body. Because the body is the easiest. The body is the easiest with which we experience the present moment. Our 5 senses, our doorways into the present moment. And when I use words such as the easiest doorway into the present moment, we know that our bodies are here in this moment called now. For me, I'm on a cushion, on a yoga mat. Some of you are on chairs, on cushions. Your feet may be resting on the flooring, or they may be folded, also touching some sort of a mat or carpet. This interaction between those lower parts of your body and the surfaces underneath you, they represent something that is unfolding from moment to moment, from this present moment to this present moment. And so you're simply reminding yourself of something you already know, that your body is your doorway into the present moment. Your body with its 5 senses. Your body representing that one part of who we believe ourselves to be. And now, see if you can point the spotlight of your awareness towards your mind. And the mind is a very, very interesting tool. We refer to it as a tool. Just notice where your mind is, which means what your mind is thinking about. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to judge your thoughts as good or bad, right or wrong. But what you're really aiming to notice is how the mind travels. Its ability to travel through time, its ability to travel through space. Because if you're thinking about anything other than the present moment, whether it happened yesterday or over the past few months or years, it's traveled back through time. And it's the same if you notice it in the future. Again, it's time traveled forward into a future that it has concocted, created, imagined, one that may not unfold. And then the mind, you'll notice it might take you to different geographical locations. And that includes any of the other parts of your home, any of the other places which you might have lived or grown up in. When I ring the next bell, just remind yourself that instead of seeing your thoughts as fact, as a truth, because the truth is, at the beginning of the practice, we reminded ourselves that the truth is that we are seated on these chairs, on these cushions, on these mats. Everything other than that, not fact. Our imagination, memories, momentum, movement within the mind, movement caused by many different factors, many different things, the schools we went to, our parents, the way in which we were compared to classmates, siblings, what our report cards looked like, all based on standards which were created by some source outside of us, all contributing to the momentum and the movement that we now notice within our mind. How do we deal with that from the point of view of this practice? Just use words such as thinking, thinking, thinking. Whether you're thinking about a relationship, a health condition, finances, a single label, thinking, thinking, thinking. And when I was at the Buddhist monastery, the way in which they told me or instructed me to deal with thoughts is by take a deep breath in. They brought me to my breath, and so breathe in as deeply as you can. And then breathe out as slowly and as gently as is comfortable. And then they told me with the breath in, say think, think. And with the breath that flows out, ing. So basically the combination of the in breath and the out breath would be think, king. Think, king. And then you find yourself a little less affected by the thoughts because they're no longer facts. They're just passing clouds, movement, mist, water vapor, moving from the right to the left, or the left to the right, it doesn't really matter. And because the thoughts are constantly changing from moment to moment, that can't really be who you truly are. Because you can't be constantly changing. Which brings you to that part which is noticing the thinking process, the witness. Taking a deep, deep, deep breath. This time, even pausing once you reach the capacity of your lungs and your stomach. Taking in a little bit more air before you slowly as is comfortable, as gently as you can, releasing the breath, experiencing the sensations, because these sensations are being experienced in this present moment. The eternal and the only present moment. And according to the teachers and the sages, it is here in this present moment that the witness resides, that witness which notices the movement, the change, the clouds that appear to change in size, in shape, occasionally with thunder and lightning, flashes of lightning. Return back to the present moment, where you begin to discover that part within and around you that is unchanging, where you return back to your natural state. Can you notice how you arrived into this space within such a short duration of mind created time and space? This is what the practice is about. Knowing that this is our eternal state, our natural state. But yet, how we often mistakenly believe ourselves to be the clouds, the storms, the thunder, the lightning, the drops of tears and rain. Let every ringing of the bell bring us back into this space. Each time we get lost, notice how easy it is. Nothing's changed around you. Still the same room, same body, same finances, same relationships. Yet we have returned home. We smile. We breathe. We sit. We allow. Everything about the present moment. What is meditation? It's very simple. It's simply developing the ability to appreciate everything that is unfolding around us at this present moment. And occasionally your mind will take you back into the history, back into the past, back into the story, different place, a different time. Sometimes it was a good place and a good time, sometimes it wasn't. But it brought us here to this moment. Almost as though every experience was like a signpost directing us here into this moment. Where everything seems comfortable, the stomachs feel comfortable, the body feels relatively comfortable. We have created this space, this privacy for ourselves. Let us now move through a practice that has much to do with our immune systems. Simply because I'll talk you into it. Just because it's sometimes helpful to simply understand why a practice. For many of us, there's been so much identification with the mind, with the clouds, with the past, fears about the future. Believing ourselves to be the mind with its with the name that was given to it by its parents or its guardians, with the gender and all of the roles that it had to play because of the gender that it was assigned, simply because of the way in which the body looked. Too masculine, too feminine. Similarly with sexuality and attainments and awards and finances, standards that were created over time, over space. Many of us, we manage to achieve and live up to some of these standards, but maybe not all. And some of us, we reached all of the standard, we ticked all of the boxes, but yet didn't quite feel what was promised to us. The peace, the stillness, the happiness, the joy, whatever you want to call it. And the body that exists in this present moment, the body that doesn't quite understand time very well. This body, it, it watches the thoughts. And so far as we identify ourselves as the mind and as our thoughts, the body believes that every event is occurring in the present moment. That disagreement, that grieving moment from the past, that unkind word or those unkind words that were said to us a long time ago, maybe even yesterday. We think those thoughts. The body believes that we are having that disagreement, that we are going through that process. And the body, it becomes tight, tense. It releases hormones like adrenaline and other stress hormones, getting us ready to either fight or flee. In this part of the practice, we simply recognize that there are pockets of tightness that we have kept within our body for a very long time. There are parts of the body that have become so tight over long periods of time that we have simply normalized them, accepted them as the normal way in which our bodies are. My voice will guide you towards the different parts of the body just so that you can examine, you can experience, you can truly experience that particular body part. And together, we will release intentions. intentions to release, these bubbles, these pockets of tightness, because we are at the verge of recognizing and understanding that we are here in the present moment. We are ready to release the past. We are ready to release all those standards that we feel we have to live up to. And simply begin acknowledging the perfection of this present moment, free of all such standards. And let's visualize our awareness as a light. Let this light compensate for the grayness and the clouds outside if you're here in the UK area, or at least near London where I am. Let it be far brighter than the sun. Let this light be brighter than 1,000 suns. Because that's how the sages, they describe the witness, the beingness, the presence. In fact, they do not use numbers like 1,000, million, billion, trillion, simply because they describe awareness as being something beyond the comprehension of our mind. And so we open ourselves to a light that is beyond our comprehension. And we will infuse this light with different qualities. I know many of you have done this practice before, but invoke the beginner's mind, because each moment is a new moment. You have had many incredible experiences over the past few months that have increased your ability to feel compassion, kindness, love. You are a new person. I am a new person. We are new here in this present moment. And with the ringing of this bell, we release all previous practices. As we bring qualities such as ease, kindness, releasing, stillness, beauty. We all like to laugh, so humor. And any other quality, healing, any other quality that you feel you would like to bring. Let's begin with the area around the forehead. Just skin. Relaxing the skin as this light bathes and flows through this region, gravitating towards the eyebrows, the eyelids, the cheeks and the bridge of the nose, and the upper lips and the lips, and the chin and the cheeks. Now release that intention for all of the qualities we spoke of to permeate and flow through every cell within this region. Focusing on the kindness, that love, that lies outside of conditions, that love that simply is, that allows the cells within the skin to interact with each other in harmony and in peace and in stillness. No longer needing to compete, no longer needing to do, but to simply just be. Now invite this light to move up the forehead into the scalp, almost as though you were massaging your scalp with some luxurious perfumed shampoo or oil. Penetrating and moving through the back and the sides of the scalp, a light far more effulgent than any you have ever perceived with your five senses. A light that can only be experienced. A light bringing peace and kindness and stillness. And with the ringing of the next bell, let this light gravitate inward through the thin layer of muscles, through that bone which we refer to as our skull, permeating and moving through the soft tissue within, reaching every fold within and around the brain, seeping through the eyes and the ears, which include that narrow passage and eardrums and tiny bones, muscles at the back of the eyes relaxing, loosening themselves. Pressures within the eyes, both right and left, beginning to balance themselves, returning back to that equilibrium. Bringing back that image of this effulgence, this light, this kindness, the cells working together rather than against each other. Spending a few moments with the brain, through which many chemicals and hormones are released, which govern and affect our moods, our personalities, our emotions. No longer any need to push, to fight. No longer a need to flee or to run. As we embrace the present moment where we sit and breathe and do very little else. Simply because this is not a practice of doing. This is a practice of being. Take a deep breath in, experiencing every sensation. Noticing how, as you breathe in, how as the air flows in through your nostrils and up your nasal passage, how the air gets infused by this very energy and light. Resonating and moving through every cell within your face, your nasal passage. As you breathe out slowly and gently, how this light carries with it some of these cells which we release as we breathe out, infusing the space around you with this light. A mist appearing around you, far brighter than any light that is entering in through your windows and doors. This light spreading down through your neck. And as it moves into and through the neck, release, releasing any pockets of tightness that you feel you no longer need within the neck. Just balancing your head more than efforting it into its current posture, turning your posture into one of balance rather than effort, relaxing the muscles around the neck, experiencing that flow of air moving down and up. Letting this light gravitate down through your shoulders, and as this light moves through the shoulder muscles, simply letting the weight of your arms pull down upon your shoulders, allowing your shoulders to rest, to slope, to relax, to find ease and comfort. A light that now moves down through both arms, both right and left, through the bend of the elbow into the forearms, wrist, palms, fingers, all the way down to the tips of the fingers. Finding the points upon which your palms and your hands are resting. Some of your hands might be resting on your laps or a different part of your body. Some, this might simply be hanging beside you. Either way, feel the warmth of skin and flesh, of life. Alternatively, simply feel the interaction between the air around you and the skin that surrounds every finger, your palm, your back of your hand. You're beginning to get an idea of the frame of your body. Now finding that core, that center of the body, the spinal column. Seeking out the top end of the spinal column. That part which fuses into the skull, the base of the skull. Now stretching. Stretching the top end of the spinal column upward. Stretching the tail end, or rather pushing or digging the tail end of the spinal column downwards into your chair or your cushions or your mats. Experiencing the alignment that begins to unfold between vertebra and vertebra, making up the arch. which begins to light up almost like a Christmas tree from the base all the way to the top, merging into the skull, merging into the arms through the shoulders, releasing perhaps the most important of intentions up until this point, that there be alignment which allows the energies within the spinal column to flow comfortably and easily through the spinal column. The electrical charges through the nerves within the spinal column and the fluids and all else that we are only beginning to discover within this region of the body that has much to do with the balance and the immune system and the healing that will continue to unfold long after the close of this afternoon's practice. This light now spreading from the spinal column from the shoulders into the chest region, where many vital organs function, the lungs, the hearts, and so much more. Tuning into that beat, that pump that keeps the blood flowing through the heart, that rising of the rib cage as the lungs expand as we breathe in and fall as we exhale. This whole region bathed in this light. And all of the different organs, some of which we know of, but most of which we are quite ignorant of, that simply continue this process of well-being that unfolds within our bodies from moment to moment and breath to breath, requiring little to no effort at all, a sense of beingness. The light bathing the digestive system, the pelvic region, and all of those points of contact between body and cushion and mats and chairs, spreading through the legs, the knee joint, ankles and calves, and the soles of the feet and the toes, until your whole body is bathed by this light. infused with this light, not never separate, a part of every cell that makes up this form that we call and refer to as our body. Releasing that intention that these cells exist in a state of harmony and stillness and kindness, and love. And when I use the word love, I simply refer to the oneness, that connection. This ringing of the bell, so that you may release this light from your form, so that it not only moves through your rooms, but into the streets. And if you've ever seen a sunrise, can you notice how quickly the light spreads? Let this light that is more powerful than a trillion suns move through this globe, this planet we call our home, Earth, reaching every continent, every ocean, every mountain peak, every valley, right to the base of the oceans, into the core of the earth. And we release an intention that all that we perceive, or perhaps a contemplation that all that we perceive through our five senses are but reflections, mirror reflections of this space within ourselves, this world, this universe within our bodies, made up of trillions of cells. And then we release a final intention that there be peace throughout this planet. Maybe that's a very big ask. Maybe that's too much to ask. So we just release intentions. In particular, that space. Let's focus this light in that area, that space, that geographical location where the Ukraine is, where Russia is, where Romania and the surrounding countries that are taking in refugees. Let us release an intention free of anger, free of frustration, free of fear, one infused only with love beyond conditions of kindness, of stillness that we have had glimpses into during our practices. And we release an intention that this whether it's the leadership or those on the ground, we welcome them. into the core of our very being, releasing that final intention that be peace, that they experience peace within their bodies, comfort, healing, security, food, shelter, smiles, laughter, joy, and so much more. That they experience peace within their minds, for they are peace itself. That they recognize, that they remember the oneness, the completion, the stillness and the beauty. And now the final bell, which simply marks the beginning of the true practice, where we return back to our relationships, our finances, our stories, but with a knowing that we exist within this peace, within this stillness, within this awareness, and we can return back to it. From moment to moment and breath to breath. Please feel free to unmute yourselves. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's good to see all of you. It really is. Thank you, Vinod. That was absolutely beautiful. So happy you're back. So good to be back. Everyone. Pleasure. And hello, Shiho. Hello, Shiho. Welcome back, Shiho. We missed you. It's a pleasure. Take care, my dear friends. Have a lovely, lovely day. Bye. Take care. Love to all of you. Bye bye.